Hey Keith, happy Friday.
Hey, happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Let's see. Oh, we don't get a private session.
What's that?
I said, we've got more people joining this week, so that's definitely. Hey Wayne, how are you? Let's see, I'm gonna share my screen because I made a GIF or a GIF or whatever you call them. I don't know what you call them. Let's see. Just have to get that going. There's no sound on it. Speaking of sound, my sound's off. It's on my computer, which I don't like. That doesn't seem like I can change it at the moment. Oh yeah, I can. Hold on here. I found my AirPods. I don't know if anybody knew. They've been missing for a week, and found them in the bottom of a laundry hamper. Thankfully, they didn't get washed, so that was a winner. Connect there so I can see people. All right, my AirPods work better, and speaker. Let's see how they work. Oh, 5 participants. Hold on, I gotta get in the waiting room. Admit. Super. I love a party. People, you're muted when you come in, but definitely know that you can unmute at any time because we are casual around here. Let's see. Now I'm getting people in. I am on a yoga ball, so that's why I'm bouncing. Just in case someone wonders. Let's see, is my chat box up? Y'all can chat with each other. Please shoot a note in the chat where you're at this current moment, where you're tuning in from, what I'll say. People are jumping in and jumping out. I don't know what to tell you. Super, I want a gallery, that's what I want. Yay, now I can see who's here. That makes me feel better. For all the people, I've learned that you don't have to share your video with me. I know I say that all the time before, but I was on a phone call with someone else. It was in the morning. I had not gotten out of my pajamas yet, and sometimes it's just nice to not share your video. So I've reworked my suggestion. I like seeing people, thank you, but it's not mandatory because sometimes you just don't need to. I get it. If you're not in the mood, don't do it, but jump over to the chat. I see a couple of you. Let me know where you're watching from. I'm gonna jump over to my participants, make sure I don't miss anybody. There's a bunch of new Zoom stuff going on as far as passwords, like whether you want to require them or not. And anywho, it's above my pay grade is what I always say. So I just try to make sure that everybody can join in here. I've got 6 of you this time, so I think I did something correctly this week. That's always great. So we're gonna have a lot of fun with SpongeBob today. Just talking about breathing. It's come up on topics of conversations. I've had some really great info that's coming out from my colleagues, my rock tape people, and others. And I just want to share, I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole of opinions on masks. That's too big of a rabbit hole for all of us.
Hey, how are you today, Laura?
Hi, Wayne. Thanks for jumping in. Good to see you in the fam.
Yeah, you too.
Super. Love it. Always give me requests in the chat room if you have them, or chime in and audible them as well. I love that. So I know that people are participating, but put them in the chat because my brain sometimes squirrels and doesn't come back around. So that would be helpful if you have any recommendations. But the basic is what we're going to go off of, is breathing, how important it is to actually get your lungs to do the functioning that they are meant to do, and how many other systems that actually affects. So I don't have a ton. I was trying to find some good images and things like that. Microbiology and cellular level stuff is not my realm of genius zone. So I can send you to a lot of places and have some resources for that. So nobody jump out with some in-depth question. Or I'll just defer it to someone else for sure. But I'm going to keep an eye on people who jump into the waiting room. I have the waiting room now for everybody, but I'm gonna ask more questions today. So either feel free to jump through on your walkie-talkie spacebar, or type into the chat box on the little questions. Don't worry, single word answer questions. Like the first one, does anyone feel like they are more stressed in the past month? Yes or no? Depends on the week. I see you, Keith. Maybe. I don't know. How could at times
Sometimes it
more
depends on the
stress?
day.
I agree with that. I totally agree with that. Some days, you know, you'll rock through them and it'll be okay. But I guess, let's see. Then the next question is, I had notes here somewhere. How do you best channel your stress? Like, if you know you're stressed, what's kind of your first instinct to do? You can type it in or you can chime in on that sort of thing. For me, I toy between laying down and just chilling out, like chill time on the couch or the bed, or going for a hike's a good one. I sometimes I can maybe do A, B, or C. Chill out in bed, exercise, or have a cocktail. Those are my three. Obviously, it depends on the situation, but to know your go-to on what you do when you know that your stress level is ramping up, right? The first step is admitting it's happening and owning that it's happening and understanding that. The second is that anything else? Yeah. Scotch is a breathing exercise. Oh, you're adding it into breathing exercise. I get it. You have A and B, like me. I love it. And it's good to have options. And I think I've said it before, but I'll repeat it again, that you don't want to avoid stress. Stress is sometimes a very positive thing. It's a motivator for you to do something. So don't try to think that you have only, you need to be zero stress all the time, because that is not true. But breathing exercises, great segue, Keith. Thanks so much. And if you can still see my screen, I'm going to switch to the diaphragm. So muscles are my thing. Muscles and fascia and all the soft tissue are where I go, and that's where my knowledge is. Granted, there's all the depth of understanding. Deep breathing can do so much for you. Breathing under stress or tension creates a chain effect of what's going on. So you can even think of it fully down to like the capillary levels, where the oxygen comes into the lungs. If it's not getting a full breath on a regular basis, so if this diaphragm is not helping that full circulation And that full breath, you're not getting the oxygen to the blood, and then the blood is not optimal. The blood and the lymph system work identical to each other. So then moving and breathing under stress and tension doesn't let the lymph flow as well. And that's where lymph is where your inflammation lives, and your lymphatic system is like I love the description. It's like the sewer system of your body to get out all your toxins. And if that's not flowing well, or if that's backed up, or you're not getting that, then you can see how then all other systems are going to be affected. So just breathing and being able to take full breaths on a regular basis is so important. And I don't want to go down this road of being so aware and then worried and then fearful that, oh my gosh, I've got to wear this mask for work, and what is it doing to my body? And I mean, then you're creating another stress level. So it's more of a matter of being aware of what great breathing can help you with. Okay, so just stay on the positive sides of things. So I was trying to get this to be a video of the diaphragm, and it's not. So let's see, I'm going to stop sharing that for a second so you can see my video a little bit better. And I'm going to jump backwards a little bit more. But the thing about the diaphragm is that when you inhale and the lungs fill up, your diaphragm is going down, kind of backwards. The coolest part, and the thing that I found out recently through my rock tape connections and Dr. Steve Capobianco, who's an amazing fascia knowledge person, is that fascia, all that fibrous tissue that's everywhere in our body, from the diaphragm, that it has a direct connection around the heart even. So they've shown now that if you really breathe deeply, right? Everybody take a deep breath and then exhale the whole way, and exhale the whole way, like someone's going to punch you in the gut. I'm keeping talking, I'm on the same breath, and I'm still exhaling out that whole time. And then that reactivity, all that motion of your diaphragm and then the fibers around your heart muscle, it's actually, you can have better heart health from breathing better because of the fascial connection. I mean, I love the body and how it's connected. So not only with your circulation and your blood and your lymph, but your heart muscle itself are huge reasons to be aware of your breathing. Now, I thought a little bit about possibly doing some breathing techniques, and I'm happy to go down there if we need to, but there's multiple techniques on breath work and breathing, belly breathing, diaphragmatic breathing. There's lots out there, and it's sometimes overwhelming. Feel free at any time to shoot me some link of something and be like, is this stuff whack, or is this okay? Does this make sense? I'm totally happy to filter through that. My personal belief is that being aware of your breathing levels, how big can you take a breath? Can you actually move your diaphragm when breathing, which a lot of people will lay down flat, and you can put something on your stomach and then see if you can breathe and move that object. All right. And some want you to move your chest also. Some want you to keep your chest calm. It's the most important piece of that is actually moving the belly to do that, and then we're all like, but I'm sucking in my gut and I got to look good. Whatever. I went through that. I'm like, you want me to push out my belly? And then I had 3 kids, and then it became easy. So learning movement in your area below your lungs is important. I don't always want to say belly because I really want you to understand how you can feel how it can expand into your lower back as well. Okay, so both of those. Does anyone do this breathing? Any sort of, Keith, you said you do breathing stuff, but has anyone tried a breathing technique that they love? Can you punch it in the chat room or tell me if you know of a specific one that you do. Wayne, if you're talking, you're on mute. Okay. But there's a Calm app or something like that. There's apps that you can do that'll coach you through it. In the strength and conditioning world, Wim Hof method is hugely popular right now. WIMHOF. There might be 2 F's. That's a whole thing on learning how to breath hold. There's a lot of specifics that you can get into. Main reason, again, just go back for me. I want you to learn how movement can happen in your lower back and your belly muscles all around. And that enables better oxygen into your blood flow and your capillaries and all that sort of stuff, which then creates all this stuff. So backing up and hearing about and meeting with one of my colleagues yesterday who is construction, and yeah, I won't, anyway, so construction, they have to wear some sort of face cover. There's not much regulation to it. It's just a face cover. So he had just a, what do you call those? I just call them a ninja mask, really. It's balaclava and stuff like that. It's any of those sorts of things that, you know, the interesting part was it kept slipping down as we were talking. So he's pulling it up, and then we get into all these conversations on whether you should wear it. But he noted as well that his breathing is different, and anyone's breathing is going to be different when you have a face covering. All right. It is restricting. You're still able to get enough oxygen. It is not a problem of enough oxygen. The thing that's happening is it's creating an environment for more CO2 and more carbon dioxide. Okay. And that is where everyone is so different, because everyone's level of tolerance to carbon dioxide is different. Okay, I don't want to get too sciencey, but it equates to the more fit and healthy you are, the better tolerance to carbon dioxide you have. So all around, I think the biggest benefit that's coming from all of this mask wearing is that people are realizing, I might want to do that whole exercise, breathing hard stuff, because it helps me be better in my breathing. So your carbon dioxide tolerance is really important to know. And I kind of go back to, I grew up as a swimmer and I was a diver, and I used to love trying to figure out if I could swim across the 25-meter pool underwater, right? How long can you hold your breath for? And breath holding is a good measure of your carbon dioxide tolerance. So if you want to play that game seated, sitting on a couch, not at risk of anything if you're going to faint or pass out while holding your breath, please. Safety note. But how far that you can, how long you can hold your breath says a lot about your tolerance. Okay. So that's a big deal. And I see about a face shield stuff, which is awesome. A face shield is definitely better than a mask. I wonder about some environments that, I guess if you have the shield, you're looking down, it's not going to be as big of a deal. So I like that better as far as your breathing goes, right? So how often do you check in and just stop for a second and go, you know, exhale, inhale, both, is what I want you all to get out of this little session today. I want you at least 3 times a day, stopping, checking your breath, being like, can I slow it down? And whatever exercise you want. One of them is, and I always forget the numbers, but it's like inhale for 5, hold for 4, exhale for 6, play around with your numbers, and then hold at the bottom. So if you can inhale, hold, exhale, hold, those kind of things are just bringing awareness to your system, and they are eventually conditioning you to mechanically breathe better and increase your carbon dioxide tolerance. Okay, so all of the above is happening. I don't like to get too detailed, because it's just more about being aware and knowing that we are all in different situations right now and different stress levels. So whether it's a good day or an off day or a stress day, it's something to note. Like if you woke up and you're already like chip on your shoulder, snapping at everybody, take a second and figure out your breathing, because I bet you money you're not breathing well. So a little game you can maybe play with your spouse or your children or anyone around you, and just be like, wait, have you taken a deep breath today? Look, I'm going to take a breath break because it's going to be way better, and understand. And it's actually a fun thing to try to, a game to play with kids if you have kids around, because then you can, they can pick the number, as long as it's not like hold for 45 and then and then you're passing out and everything like that, right? So breathe, be aware of your breathing, because it's hugely important to all different levels. One of the people, I'm going to share my screen for a moment because I want you to have this information of my buddy, Dr. Perry. Can you all see that on the screen? He's got a website called Stop Chasing Pain. He is the biggest brain about all things lymphatic and systems. And sometimes, I mean, it's a lot over my head also. I like his podcasts because he actually gets a little more straight talk. He's got an amazing thing called the lymphatic aquarium, which is a really cool analogy between your lymphatic system and an aquarium, and the filtration in an aquarium and how it relates to your lymphatic system. And you know I love simple analogies. So when the lungs aren't doing their part and bringing oxygen to the blood, then the blood and the lymphatic system are off. And then if your lymphatic system's off, then your liver and your kidneys, and you get my point. Okay. So I for sure write down his info, check it out. Stop Chasing Pain is his Instagram handle as well. Since he's also part of a rock tape family, he's got some cool stuff on different ways to use rock tape. Like he's got one for your vagus nerve that you put a little strip by your vagus nerve, and it helps your energy flow. Super cool ways to use things. So I try to bring his stuff in every now and again with his tape sensation. Keith, I think your wife would like it a lot as well. So it's something to spread around. If you know, it's just a different way to look at things, right? Even with the mental health component of blood and oxygen to the brain, and stress and brain chemicals, and if your mental health is off and everyone's like, well, it's a chemical imbalance. He's just got different perspectives on all those sorts of things. So I have huge gratitude for him in my circles, because he's taught me so much about, and spurred a lot of this conversation today about breath, because sometimes you're like, oh, breathing work, breath work, oxygen. It's all about how much oxygen is coming in, and it's not so much all the time just about your oxygen. Okay, so those are all big. What else do they want to make sure that I address? The type of face coverings. Know that the environment that you're creating with your face covering is more about the CO2 levels when we're talking about your own health, and just, that's what I wrote down. Things to be aware of when you're wearing face stuff is if you're drowsy, if you're getting headaches, and if you have any shortness of breath. Those are all moments, and I hope everybody's teaching that moving forward, that you need to find a place outside where you're not around anybody, but you need to find a space, preferably outdoors, and take some deep breaths and go through that, because those are definite signals that your body is not happy. It could even happen at home. I mean, these can happen in any sort of situation. So the other tangent and squirrel I'm going to go off of is there's a whole line of education called Z Health. Z Health goes into carbon dioxide tolerance, but actually different techniques of bag breathing. You know, like when someone's hyperventilating, bag breathing, they actually do it to help your neurological system and create better movement based on your carbon dioxide tolerance. So like You can do a simple motor test with yourself and see if you can slap your hands up, down, and how rhythmic you can make that. And so it's really funny to do it with the other side. So play around with me, right? If you have the ability with both your hands, play around with me with your motor learning. It's always a good test of where your neurologic health is at. Back of your hand, front of your hand, make good slaps and see how fast you can do that. I'm on my non-dominant and I just feel it in my brain, right? One side's totally fine. And then the other side's like, doo, 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 doo. Right? Do you feel the difference? So then they have a whole thing. I don't have a bag around here, but you know, breathing into a bag for like 10, 20 seconds, building up your carbon dioxide levels, and then trying that again. It's super funny. Trying that again, you'll find out if that's something that actually helps you or doesn't help you neurologically. So many fun games that you can do with your breathing and going on about, but that's one I can link and send emails. Maybe I'll do another email out about Z Health as well, because all sorts of things you can do that. But rounding the circle back of being aware of your breathing and understanding that stress and tension breathing affects all your systems. So yes, you're going to feel a little more off mentally, and that's a transition to be aware of that and be okay with that, that you can have down days and you can have up days, and that's normal to have. And then realizing that, trying to associate, if you have aches and pains or chronic pain, check your breathing, check your breath and make sure, because a lot of chronic pain kind of interacts with the lymphatic system. And if you've got a problem with your lymphatic system and inflammation, it's just a road to check. Not that I have all the solutions for any of that, but that's certainly something to look into. Attitude wise, we don't have to be happy all the time. I like to be, but there's times that I'm not. So check your breathing. Find a nice way to tell your person you're having a conversation with that they might not be happy. Be like, hey, have you ever tried this breathing exercise? I learned this thing from Lori and it's really cool. Let's try that. Again, involve other people in your education of what's going on in your awareness, because then it helps you. And honestly, your spouse or your children are the most observant to things that you aren't even watching yourself, right? So you talk to them about breathing and be like, hey, if you ever see me, I'm not really breathing too much, or my posture's, you know, down like this, check me, all right? And stay on me, because everybody needs a team of people to make sure that things are appropriately happening. And for all my safety people out there, please make sure that you're dropping in the education of carbon dioxide tolerance, and having people still know that even though they're wearing face coverings, they still need to be aware of their breathing, which I'm sure they're probably saying so anyway. Oh, and I was going to give you a couple of, if you're having to wear any sort of face covering, not a face shield, but one of the things that it came out with, hold on. I don't know if I have my scissors in my box, but it was another brand of kinesiology tape that actually is packaging pre-cut tape for healthcare workers. But if you have to wear, and people are getting irritated on their nose or stuff like that, they're taking, so I would just take my regular rock tape and I would cut it lengthwise, and then you actually put it on. One, it's going to help keep any fabric face covering up there. And two, they say that it helps prevent fogging of the glasses. Okay. So that was one thing that was a big deal to help prevent the glasses from fogging, because a lot of people can't see. The only thing, here's my my disclaimer, is I don't know if this is cotton and nylon. So I'm sure washing your face and things like that will clean it, but I don't know the level of like whether the virus would stay on it, how long, any of those things. So I guess someone just, they had it out there as a solution to not bruise from the masks and to not fog up your glasses. I'm going to try it out. Then the other thing is that, well, if you think that the virus is staying on it and if you're removing it and applying it every day, the skin's probably going to get a little irritated with that. So Rock Tape actually makes a low stick tape for more sensitive skin. So that would be the one that I would suggest it on. So that's something I'm going to try out and see if I can't fog up my glasses with the tape, as well as my construction buddy yesterday gave me the tip that Dawn dish soap, apparently, you take a little drop of Dawn dish soap on your safety glasses and then rub it in, kind of polish it in, because of course, right, when you have it, it's dirty or it's foggy, but polish it in. He says that goes about 3 hours worth of non-fogging up. And I even asked him, I'm like, but scuba divers and everybody, they have like a special drop thing that's supposed to not fog up your glasses. He said, nope, everyone's tried everything, but this is something that's actually working. So I wanted to make sure that I pass that information along. Ooh, Wayne, one question I might have for you is, do your face shields fog up at certain times if you're wearing a face shield, or is it pretty much never fog up?
Yeah, sometimes my face shields do, fog up, but I use like rubbing alcohol or something, on there. That helps a little bit.
Okay. And how often? Hi. How often are you supposed to clean them?
Hold on, I'm on.
I know, but I'm waving back.
Sorry, the kids. Anyway, what was that?
How often are you told to clean them?
Usually once a day.
Okay. I get it. I have them. I don't know what it is with the magnet. All of a sudden, the computer, and they're like, oh my gosh, I get to be a star. I haven't had a visit from mine yet. I'm just reading Keith's comment. That lack of oxygenated blood is a big deal. Yes, it is, for sure. And Carol says that Johnson's baby shampoo. I'll have to ask if they tried that sort of thing. Ooh, maybe we'll do a comparison moment of one versus the other, of one set of glasses with Dawn and one with baby shampoo.
You can also use the Rain-X that people put on their windshields.
Oh yeah.
That works on
Good
glasses too, because it's a defogger as well.
Okay. Yep. Super. Twofer on that one. People voting in on Rain-X as well. I am super curious. I'm going to try the tape technique. Of course, I'm going to get my sweet neon tape and try that out as well. But ooh, before I leave you, because I know we're kind of at our end of our time, there's also these cool things out there. This is something, it's called a relaxator. Let's see. Which it has a dial on the side, okay, from level 1 to 5, that you can open or restrict the air going through. So it's something that trains the diaphragm better. And it looks like you're having a pacifier, right? It helps you understand resisted breathing and how that can be beneficial for all sorts of different training. I actually have it because I have something I discovered a few years ago called SBT, something where my heart rate all of a sudden will jump up to like 260. Funky little thing. But if I crank this down and try to blow into it, and that Valsalva maneuver is what helps it kind of reset. So that's why I have it. And I played around with the breathing stuff in it for a while, because then if I can knock off the little hiccup in my heart rhythm by myself, then I don't have to go into a hospital and do all that stuff. It's apparently pretty normal. I had never heard of it before, but having the heart rate Apple Watch note 260 was pretty cool. That'll be for another day. But so there's lots of tools that you can learn to breathe amazingly. I have lots of resources if you're really curious about going down different breath work and breathing training. But otherwise, I just encourage you all 3 times a day, maybe if it's when you wake up, lunchtime, and going to bed, take a couple minutes and really just pay attention to how you're breathing. And maybe if you can improve that a little bit. Nose breathing, mouth breathing would go into a whole other conversation. So I just want to keep it simple on your bodies. But does anyone have any questions for me before we kind of head out? I don't mind going over a little bit. That was called the Relaxator. They actually have the website, therelaxator.com. I don't know. I can type it in there. That'll be better to do. The Relaxator. I think that's right. Yeah, and this was one also found out about in that Z Health training stuff. So pretty cool things if anyone has breathing stuff. I hope you all breathe a little bit easier on this Friday. Go out and have a fabulous weekend. And definitely holler at me if you have any more questions or if you have any recommendations for next week. Because so far, I'm not traveling anywhere. So I'm happy to do this every Friday and see.
Bye. Can you say bye?
Bye.
All right, have a good weekend, Lori. Have a good weekend, everybody.
Bye, Wayne. Thanks for the family for joining us. Awesome sauce.
Thank you, Lori.
Sure. Anytime. Jump on out. See you next week.
See you next week, Larry.